Let's talk about celebrity pastor culture. Is it good for the church? Is it dangerous, or is it just like inevitable? It's just going to happen. See, without a doubt, we live in a celebrity culture. We have for, well, centuries, probably. You could argue at least a century, but it's interesting that we can be fascinated with people that we'll never meet and who have zero desire to meet us. But we are. Celebrity pastor culture has definitely taken hold in the church too. But the burning question, I think really that I want to talk about with you is this good for the church? So in this video, I'm going to share 3 pros and 3 cons of celebrity pastor culture. Hey, before we get too far, I want to say this pretty clearly. None of this is new. I said we've been, in a celebrity pastor culture for a while. Look, the Apostle Paul actually struggled with a first century version of celebrity culture. He even admitted he wasn't the best speaker, but still saw Christians in the early church pledging allegiance to leaders they liked the best, some of whom hadn't even invested in the local church the way Paul had, right? You can read about it in 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians. So celebrity culture has always been a thing. It's like Apollos and the super apostles, and these guys can preach, but nobody cares like I do. The names have changed, but the heart issue hasn't. So what is new? Well, with podcasts, YouTube, social media, smartphones, you can hear your local pastor on Sunday, and guess what? Then your church gets to compare the local pastor against the best communicators on the planet Monday through Saturday for free, 24/7. And here is the unspoken reality. Almost every local pastor is being evaluated, not against last week's sermon or how they're ministering in the congregation, but against the best communicators in the world, right? Now, before we blame technology, let me say this. Technology isn't good or evil. It just reveals and amplifies what's already there, right? This stuff was in the human heart, has been since the Apostle Paul. And, Paul was dealing with this before dial-up was even a thing. And most of the people I know who might be considered to be celebrity pastors, household names in the church, I promise you, the vast majority of them didn't set out to be famous, okay? Some of them don't even like being famous. They're just trying to steward the gift God gave them, and all these people showed up. They're down to earth. They love the church. They're committed to the mission, and they're trying not to screw it up, okay? The best leaders I know use their influence to advance a cause, not to advance themselves. So, what are the pros of celebrity pastor culture? Like, are there actually any upsides to all of this? Well, real quick, I think there are 3 pros. Number 1, the age we're in makes sharing great ideas possible. Okay, all this free content, yep. No plagiarism here, okay, but it just helps us really grow in our faith. You can grow faster, you can grow deeper, you can lead better, you can learn more. It's not a bad thing. I'm really grateful for the amazing communicators that I learned from. Second thing is, it makes us all work a little bit harder, right? Historically, pastors have leaned toward either being workaholics, or if you really want to be honest, a little lazy. Okay. It's sort of one of the two, but being aware that others are watching has made me a more diligent communicator. I think it's made me a better leader for the sake of the unchurched in our region and for the sake of the leaders that I love building into. Third thing is, unchurched people don't compare preachers. This one's really important, and we forget about it in the church, right? Comparing pastors is what churched people do, not the unchurched. So if your mission is to truly reach people far from God, the comparison game becomes irrelevant. They just want to know, oh, there's a local pastor? Okay, cool. All right. So those are some upsides because unchurched people don't really care. They don't know the household names. All right. Now, there are also some downsides. So here are the 3 cons of celebrity pastor culture. First, way too many local leaders want to be famous, not effective. Influence is never the goal, right? But you can start out in the age of social media. You're a digital native and you're like, I want to blow up on TikTok. I really want to blow up on Instagram, right? Look, your calling, my calling is to be humble, effective shepherds, not influencers chasing the spotlight. Second con, some leaders know more about celebrity pastors than their own pastor or community. If you can quote every sermon from Priscilla Shirer, Stephen Furtick, Jenny Allen, or Mike Todd, Craig Rochelle, but you haven't learned your elders' names or your volunteer stories, there's probably a problem, right? Nobody should be able to outlocal the local church, and you can get distracted. You can get caught up in this game. It can mess with your head and your heart. And then third, church members start placing unrealistic expectation on their leaders. So if you're a church member, love your local pastor. They might not be as polished or platformed as your favorite Instagram preacher, but they're faithfully loving your actual community. And that actually matters. All right, you know what I'm going to do? Because you watched all this way. I'm going to add a fourth. And this is the most important. You know what can happen? Your platform can get bigger than your character. That's the biggest danger. And we've seen this. This is like the moral implosion that happens to a lot of people, right? If you have a big platform, and let's say you're not even trying to build one, but it really blows up on you, you've got to make sure that your character is bigger and deeper than your platform. Because if that doesn't happen, you're going to get eaten alive. You're going to make a mistake. And well, it's all going to unravel. So always work twice as hard on your character as you do on your competency. So I'd love to know what you think, right? Join the discussion below. Drop a comment. Is celebrity pastor culture good for the church? Well, maybe, maybe not. Love to hear your thoughts. Do you see any positives? And then what are some other harmful side effects? Because clearly there are harmful side effects of celebrity pastor culture. You can join the discussion in my Art of Leadership Academy to learn faster, grow deeper, and lead better. And my last thought to wrap things up is, you know what? This is all inevitable, right? You can't just go back in time. And we see it even goes back to the first century with celebrity pastors, all right? We live in a culture obsessed with fame, but if you're a church leader, let me challenge you. Don't chase celebrity, chase faithfulness. Stay grounded, know your people, love your people, preach Jesus, not yourself. And remember, the goal isn't being famous, it's being faithful. Thanks for watching. If this resonated, hit the like button, subscribe, maybe even share it with another fellow leader. Maybe talk about this with your staff, okay? We got more conversations like this coming your way.